If you need a small car with an added dose of versatility, then you need what the motor industry calls a supermini MPV, something perhaps like Renault's latest Modus. It's been radically improved in recent times, and there's now a choice of standard or lengthened Grand Modus models. With some great engines and unbeatable safety provision, this is a car it's tough to ignore in this sector. Renault's Modus has been with us since 2004, but it's deservedly been steadily successful amongst buyers who'd maybe like a Clio Supermini but need something more versatile. Now it's been brought thoroughly up to date with a series of styling tweaks, a wider range of low CO2 engines, and most importantly, the addition of the Grand Modus variant that I'm looking at here, lengthened by 16 centimetres. I like the driving position, and the controls are well laid out and easy to find. The brakes are progressive, and unlike many small cars, the Modus feels solid and stable even at motorway speeds in windy conditions, despite the high roofline and the short wheelbase. Now the steering's got plenty of feel too, making it easy to thread the car around congested city streets or to place it accurately in corners on a B road at higher speeds. It's got more go than you might expect too. Engine-wise, the primo picks are the 1.2 litre turbocharged 100 brake horsepower unit, or this 1.5 litre DCI 106 unit. Now both make 60 from rest in 11.5 seconds. Safety-wise, all Modus models get ABS with electronic brake force distribution and emergency brake assist as standard. You also get twin front and side auto-adaptive airbags, and buyers have the option of the latest generation electronic stability program, ESP, together with ASR traction control. It's worth stretching to the Grand Modus version if you possibly can. That extra 16 centimetres of length really does make a difference. Instead of 217 litres of space with everyone in, or 1195 litres with all the seats folded, you get 305 litres of space with all the passengers in place, and 1454 litres with all the seats folded. Now that could make the difference between leaving something behind on a family holiday or taking it with you. Now the Grand Modus features this clever sliding rear bench that Renault dubs triptych, which can feature a fold out centre middle section. Now with a range of 170 millimeters, you can slide it backwards or forwards to optimize for either passengers or luggage, or a compromise or combination of both. In two-seat mode, the seat can be set in one of 4 different configurations, whilst in 3-seat mode, which is what I've got here, you can set it in either of 2 configurations. The seat can also be folded completely flat to the floor to optimize luggage space. Now you've also got some nice touches dotted around the cabin. You've got these picnic tables set in the back of the front seats, the sun blinds on the windows, and these very useful overhead storage bins. Prices sit mainly in the £10,000 to £14,000 bracket, comparable to obvious rivals like Vauxhall's Meriva and Nissan's Note. There's a premium of around £600 for the Grand Modus shape over the standard body style. Engine-wise, there's a choice of 2 1.2 litre units, an entry-level 75 brake horsepower engine, or the much better 1.2 litre TCI 100. It's a turbocharged petrol unit. There's also a 1.6 litre VVT automatic with 111 brake horsepower. If you want a diesel, there are 2, both based around the 1.5 litre DCI engine that I've got here, either an 86 brake horsepower unit, or if you go for this Grand Modus, there's a 106 brake horsepower version of the same engine. Where this Renault really scores is in terms of its day-to-day running costs. Now, take the Modus 1.2 litre TCE. You can expect 47.8 miles to the gallon from it on the combined cycle, which will come as welcome news to buyers who want to keep running costs down but don't necessarily want to drive a diesel. Now likewise, emissions have been pegged for this particular variant at just 140 grams per kilometre, and that means a cheaper road fund tax licence and cheaper benefit in kind tax bills for business users. The diesel models are well worth a mention too, as you'll get over 60 miles to the gallon on a regular basis from all three variants of the 1.5 litre DCI engine. Now the upshot of this is that residual values tend to be very good, and the Modus range as a whole enjoys some of the healthiest residuals of any supermini MPV. Insurance is pretty cheap as well, groupings range between 2 and 4. The Modus is deservedly popular, combining as it does sharp styling, decent safety provision and very good versatility. Now the latest version sharpened up its act in a few key areas, not least of which is the addition of this Grand Modus variant, a car that most resembles, say, a scenic mini MPV from Renault that's been put through a rather hot wash cycle. We'd go for a Grand Modus fitted with the 1.2 litre TCE 100 petrol engine, assuming our mileage wasn't high enough to justify the premium to upgrade to a diesel. Now that would get you pretty much everything a small car buyer could ever need. Enough said.